Hey everybody, this is Robert Burke. Welcome to episode number 7 of When to Play. And today we are going to be looking at a game called Alien Frontiers. That's the box. The artwork in this game has a great retro science fiction look that runs throughout the box, the cards, the board, everything in it has this great retro feeling. The art is by Mark Maxwell. I really do enjoy the art in Alien Frontiers. Now, Alien Frontiers is a game. It's one of the very first Kickstarter games that was successful. I don't know if it was the first, but it was the first one that came out afterwards, and people said, "Wow, this is a great game." So I think all the successful Kickstarter projects out there owe Alien Frontiers their respect, because Alien Frontiers kind of set a precedent that said, hey, great games can come out of Kickstarter. And Alien Frontiers is a great game. It's a mid to lightweight game. It's a worker placement game. And let me show you the board. You can see some more of this great artwork here. But the premise of the game is you've got this moon, and you are trying to colonize this moon, and you have ships, and your spaceships are dice. So it's a worker placement game, but you're not just placing meeples, you're placing dice. So depending on what you roll dictates where you can place on the board. So there's spots where if you roll a double, you can place here and spend some resources and you will get an extra ship or an extra die. So when you get an extra die, that's a really good thing, right? Because now you start with 3, but when I get an extra ship, now I get to roll 4 dice. So your options and how many places you can place on the board increase over time as you gain more ships or dice to roll. So you can get a max of 6 dice in the game, but there's also an alien artifact which you can gain by controlling the center region of the moon. So the object of the game is to get your colonies, which in the first editions there were these little wooden domes, and I had a problem with these because they're hard to grab with your fingers. I mean, functionally they were not ideal, but thematically they were great because they look like little colony domes. So I don't know if I would have changed it, because you can slide them around. You can learn how to grab them better, but they are difficult to grab. Now they did come out with an upgrade pack where you could get these little cool colony bases, which is like a little city with a dome over it, to replace these colony bases. So very cool. And I think they're reprinting the game right now, and they actually have a Kickstarter going on for rocket dice. So the Kickstarter is called Rocket Dice, where they actually are making 6-sided dice that look like rocket ships. So it's more thematic for Alien Frontiers. And I believe the new printing that you can get on that Kickstarter includes these domes. Definitely check for sure to make sure that's true, but I think they're including these in the new edition of Alien Frontiers that's being printed now. But these domes, when you get a dome onto a region, onto the moon, you have to pick one of the regions that you want, and each region that you control is going to give you a special ability. If I placed it in this middle one, I would get that alien artifact ship, and I would get an extra die to roll, for example. Each one of these regions has an associated placement where you can place your dice. Like this one, for example, if you have 3 of a kind down here, you can place 3 of a kind there and spend 3 ore, and then you can move a colony anywhere on that moon that you want. You get 1 point for every colony that you place, and you get 1 point for every region you control. So if I place here and get the alien artifact ship, and somebody else places there, now it's 1-1, it's a tie, I have to give up that alien artifact ship. If I placed the second one and it was 2-1, I would get it back. And the points can go up and down depending on how many regions people are controlling on the board. So it's dynamic in that sense. But down here is the lunar mine, where you can gain there's two resources in the game. There's ore that you get from the lunar mine, and then up here there are solar energy that you get by placing up here in the solar converter. There's also spaces on the board where you can, the Raiders Outpost, where you can steal resources or cards from other players. There's the Alien Artifact, which lets you draw or change out cards that give all kinds of different special abilities. They let you add or subtract maybe points on your dice. If you really need a certain number, the cards will help you have the numbers that you need to have. Some of the cards will let you place force fields on the moon that can give you an extra victory point or can keep other people from coming into a territory that you control. The repulsor field. So there's 3 different force fields that you can place on the moon itself. But basically you're rolling dice, you're trying to think of the best move that you can make with the dice that you've rolled by placing those dice on the board. You can actually block other players, like in any worker placement game. You can block other players from getting what they need by placing dice there and blocking their access to a spot that they might need. So that's part of the game as well. But the game is a lighter, mid-weight game, and I'm going to go... I don't think I would be going out on a limb if I called Alien Frontiers a gateway game. I think this really is a gateway game with a science fiction theme, as much as a game like Settlers of Catan or Ticket to Ride. This is a game that you can totally break out with your gaming group and they will enjoy it, or you can break it out with your family, a group of people who aren't gamers. I think the science fiction theme and the artwork appeals to a wide variety of people. The mechanics are not difficult to understand, especially with the dice, because almost everybody understands how to roll dice, right? They understand what a double is, or 3 of a kind, or a straight. Most people understand that from those kind of simple poker mechanics. And once you show them what they can gain by placing their dice and you go through a couple rounds, I think anybody can pick this up. I've played this game with my 6-year-old and my 9-year-old. They're 7 and 10 now, but I played this with them last year when they were younger, and they had no problem picking this game up at all, and they loved it. Now, there can be a little bit of AP, especially if you play with more analytical players, so that's the one of the negatives of the game is you can't pre-plan where you're going to move in this game, right? So while other players are placing their dice, you can't really go figure out what you're going to do because you don't know what you can do until you roll the dice. And you don't roll the dice until your turn. Now, I know some people have got multiple sets of dice, so they can actually roll while other players are going, so then they can be thinking about what they're going to do ahead of time. So if your group is prone to analysis paralysis, it might be worth investing in some extra dice to do that, because that would speed up the game considerably. Otherwise, when it comes to your turn, you're going to roll, and then you're going to look and see what you have, and then you're going to go, okay, well, here's what I have, here's what I can do. So that whole time where you're thinking about it is taking up time. So that is one aspect of the game that can be a negative, but again, there's a way around that if you add more dice to it. But the rule book, here's the rule book. The rule book is very well written. It's laid out in a very logical and easy to read manner. Everything is in here that you would need to know about the game. It's easy to reference if you get stuck or have questions. So really it's a game that's very easy to understand and very easy to learn, and it's very easy to play, and it's enjoyable. It's light, but there is strategy in this game. Depending on what you roll, what you're going to do. Are you going to counter your opponents to keep them from going ahead? Are you going to try to get more resources first? How quickly can you get your colonies up? And the cards, once you know the different cards in the game, there's a lot of strategy here too on what cards that you take. There's a card here like the holographic decoy, which I think is important, because if you have one of these, then nobody can steal resources from you or cards from you when they land on the Raiders Outpost. So essentially, if you have one of these and you're playing with multiple people, when somebody goes to the Raiders outpost, they're not going to steal from you. If they do steal from you, they have to take this card. That's the only thing they can steal. So it's things like that. So which cards are you going to take? And also, if you have a strategy with the cards, you have an option to place a die, and you can reset the cards. There are going to be 3 face-up cards during play, and if you don't see cards there that are part of your strategy that you want, then you can play a die and reset them. So there's always something, no matter what you roll, there's always something you can do that's beneficial. So you never have that feeling of, oh, my roll was horrible, I can't do anything. You can always do something. You might not be able to do what you really wanted to do, but there are other options that are good options for you on every turn. And the theme is good, and you kind of do feel a little bit like you are trying to colonize this planet, especially when you have these little colonies here, and with the artwork, you do get a sense of that. I mean, it's not really, really deep, but it's definitely there. So Alien Frontiers, I think, has been enjoying some good sales for a good reason. This is a game that fits lots of people. It crosses over across different groups of gamers. I've played this game with hardcore Euro gamers who love it. I've played it with my family. I've played it with people who aren't gamers at all who have liked it. I have played it with very casual gamers. And when I say casual gamers, people who like to play, things like Skip Bow or a Monopoly, very simple games like that, and they like this game. If you're a real heavy strategy gamer, it might not have enough meat on the bone for you, honestly. But if you enjoy a lighter or a middleweight game that's fun to play, that you can play with anybody, it's good. This is a great game to have in your collection, right? If you're somebody who will only play serious strategy games and only play games with people who consider themselves gamers, then this might not be a game for you. Okay, so let's look at some of the differences of opinion in the ratings on Board Game Geek for Alien Frontiers. So let's look at some of the bad ratings first. So here's Dario, and Dario has rated Alien Frontiers a 1, which is ridiculous if you ask me. He says it is very dull. Maybe. For some people, I guess any game could be considered dull to some people, right? So that doesn't tell us too much. You can't plan when it's not your turn, and players' turns are long and fiddly, so downtime and too long a game. I think this speaks to what I've already talked about, that, yeah, AP can be a problem because you don't get to start planning until you roll, and you don't roll until it's your turn. That can be corrected easily with some extra dice. But if you've got people without AP problems, the game goes really quickly and really smoothly. It depends on who you're playing with, right? How analytical is the group that you're playing Alien Frontiers with? That's something that you do need to think about. So he has a point on that one. Then he says it is broken. It's broken. I was last to play in a 4-player game. In the first 2 rounds, each other player got 2 extra ships. I couldn't get any extra ships because the spaces to build them were full. So for the rest of the game, I was 2 ships down. So, yeah, it's a dice game. What do you expect? I mean, with any dice game or card game, there's a chance that you could roll. You don't get to roll what you wanted to roll, right? Or you don't draw the cards that you wanted to draw. But it's not a broken game. That's crazy. Because the thing is, in Alien Frontiers, if somebody gets too far ahead, it's very easy to bring them back down. And that does happen in this game. So it is a balanced game. Even though the dice are at the core foundation of Alien Frontiers, this is a balanced game. Because if somebody gets too far ahead because they got ships early, the other players can bring them back down, because when you place your colony, you will place it on their regions. Okay, so if you place it on their regions, you're gaining a point, they're losing a point. And if everybody does that, you can bring back somebody down, bring somebody back down to your level very quickly. So it's not a broken game. That's crazy. Then we have, let's see, we have B. B gave it a 2, rated a 2. Says it has some interesting but counterproductive game mechanics that ruin the game. I don't know if I can comment on that one. That doesn't make much sense to me. Counterproductive game mechanics. No, that doesn't make sense, B. All right, so I'm going to look at some of the people who've rated it 10. Miko says, easy rules, fun to play, and still complex enough to keep things interesting. That's a very short and concise comment, and I would agree with it. It's not a deep game, so if you want a deep game, then Alien Frontiers isn't your game. If you like mid-weight games or even light games, it is. If you're looking for a game to introduce non-gamers to your hobby, this is a game you must have. It's Carcassonne, it's Ticket to Ride, it is Settlers of Catan, it's Alien Frontiers. Those games are kind of in the same category, and Alien Frontiers would be my favorite out of those. But that's my personal opinion, though. All right, then we have Tim, says, this is probably my current favorite game. Easy to learn, awesome components. Buy it. It is. It is easy to learn. After the first round is over, anybody who plays it will have the game down. It's very simple, and there is some strategy. It's a good balance. But if you want a lot of meat on the bone in your games, then Alien Frontiers may not satisfy you. So I hope this review helped you. If you're looking for a gateway game, add this one to your purchase list. If you only play heavy strategy games, this isn't for you. If you're a war gamer, this isn't for you. If you're a Euro gamer, you should try it. You probably like it. If you're looking for something in a mid-range that you can play relatively quickly, like within an hour or so, maybe a little bit more, Alien Frontiers is something you should try out. Thank you for watching episode 7, and we'll be back with episode 8 soon.